Hello and welcome everyone that is listening today on a Saturday afternoon. My name is Kevin Rowland on the cover of District Green. Today we'll be presenting two distinct neighborhoods that I'll be currently going to those locations, and on the topic of how do tree canopies shape the daily lives and health of most neighborhoods, and do they bring a sense of community amongst the residents in those neighborhoods. And today, with the two neighborhoods that we'll be going to, is Rogers Forge on 32 Murdoch Road, and the second one we'll be going to is New Northwood, 1336 Crofton Road. Now, I will say that where I'm at right now is at Rogers Forge in the current district right now. And I will say my first impressions of it is wow. There is a lot of vegetation and trees amongst the different varieties of them in different shades and colors. Different varieties of bushes, plants, canopies, and different distinct wildlife I'd be seeing and hearing amongst this neighborhood. Also see a lot of livelihood people actually outside today. Most of them are just sitting on their porch, walking with their friends, or going on a run with either their dog or their child. And going along the neighborhood, I do see a lot of individuals' doors are left open, so it seems like they are welcoming and inviting. And as of today, we'll be doing a comparison for these two neighborhoods and seeing what is the difference between them. And how do these tree canopies and overall, how are they in the neighborhood that they live in? How long they've been living in? And how fair has it been treating them? I guess we'll find out today on District Green. A president question that has been plaguing this episode today is, how do tree canopies shape the daily lives, health of a neighborhood? And how do they bring sense of community amongst the residents in our neighborhood? So going along, we'll be going to two distinct neighborhoods that have similar price ranges, close to how they are built, at least the type of structure of the house. And for those two neighborhoods that we'll be going to today is Rogers Forge on 32 Murdoch Street Road and New Northwood on 1336 Crofton Road. The first one we'll be going to today is Rogers, and as of right now I am taking a afternoon stroll on a Saturday. The temperature is right now 74 degrees. It's pretty humid, but not really. But as of right now, I am very impressed of how much trees are in this distinct neighborhood in general. I haven't seen any house without a tree in sight. It is just covered in foliage, vegetation, bushes, canopies, and different shrubberies of different kinds alike, with multiple different variants of colors and structure. And it is not quiet in this neighborhood either. It is pretty lively, actually. I am hearing birds. I see bunnies and rabbits going along, and I've actually caught a view of a deer. So there's different varieties of wildlife going around. And different varieties, I say, there's a variety of people that I've seen walking around, either going on jogs, walking their kids, or walking their dogs, or really just chilling outside on their porch with their door open, which I haven't seen much doors that haven't been closed. Most of them are welcoming and openly. I've come across many of the people that lived around here, and they say it's never usually hot at all, especially within their neighborhood. It's usually very lively and welcoming. Going along, at least at near the end of Murdoch, I definitely felt a distinct difference after walking outside the neighborhood that it was pretty hot when I got out there. Barely any shade covering, trees not really around, which really had a very impact on how I see tree canopies and how they affect the common area. Going along now, I will say that trees actually do have a big impact when it comes to a variety of things in a neighborhood, such as the cooling temperatures, the amount of shade that it brings. The cost of living actually gradually goes down, so you won't have to spend that much on AC. And it can affect someone's daily routines, since if it's too hot outside, they'll mostly be staying inside. Since that ain't the case for Rogers Forge, there is a lot of people outside. And going along, there is a sense of community going along this neighborhood that it feels welcoming in a way. That even back home where I have a lot of trees in my neighborhood, I had the same thing where not many people are inside, they're mostly outside. And that brings us to our closing for at least Rogers Forge on 32 Murdoch Street. And I will say we will be back to you soon as I go to New Northwood and tell you what I feel over there and the comparisons of why or how trees can impact the neighborhood. And I'll be right back. Stay tuned. Crofton Road. And right now I could definitely feel the distinct difference in temperature and cooling when there is a lack of trees over here and foliage. Going along the sidewalk right now, I can definitely feel the heat. It is definitely getting to me right now. I'm already starting to sweat as it is. As of you know, it is 34 degrees and it is pretty humid on this Saturday afternoon. There's actually, I do not see that many people outside at all, walking, none of that at all. I don't see really anyone on their porches, and everyone's door is closed. Doesn't seem anyone is coming outside today. There is, I would say, one big tree, but that's one big, really tall tree, and a couple of trees here and there, but compared to Rogers Forge, there is not that many in comparison. The housing quality is pretty much the same as Rogers Forge, but I will say in foot traffic and in lively activity, there isn't that many, at least in New Northwood. And I don't really feel the sense of community why I felt in Rogers Forge, where people from their porch say hello and wave to me. All I meet with is district quiet, some birds chirping here and there, but really ain't that much. Now, as I am going along the walk as of right now, there still hasn't been any sights of people or residents I haven't seen yet. The only sights of people I've seen right now is just the people that are driving by, and that's really it. And going down now, I still don't see, well, I see a couple of people right now playing basketball, but other than that, compared to Rogers Forge, it is nothing like it. And as I'm walking, I would say between the two neighborhoods of Rogers Forge and New Northwood, I can tell that at least tree canopies or foliage of nature would have an impact on how people interact with their neighborhood and would impact a sense of community. It would probably bring people outside more, talk to their neighbors more instead of staying inside, even on somewhat nice days like these, even if it's hot. I do not really feel the cool air from Rogers like I felt from Rogers Forge. I feel more the humidity and the 74 degrees that is if today. Now that I'm making my turns and rounds, Ooh, it is actually pretty hot outside. Alright. Whew. Sorry, as I am going to make my turns right now, I would say I will have to go back as if I'm just right now going to make a long circle and seeing if I find anyone or anything lively at least. I will come back to you guys later as we will go back to Green District headquarters right now so we could do a compare and contrast and see if tree canopies really do affect the neighborhoods. Stay tuned. Northwood, and if this will answer the present question of, do tree canopies shape the daily lives and health of a neighborhood? And does it bring a sense of community amongst the residents in their own retrospective neighborhoods? Now, the first one we're going to start with is Rogers Forge on 32 Murdoch Road. Now, going through my walkthrough, I spent about 30 minutes to an hour walking in this neighborhood, and I will say, I didn't want to stop walking in this neighborhood. It really felt nice. The cool air with the trees blocking out most of the sun that was going on that day, which the temperature was 74 degrees. It felt really nice. And I will say the sense of community I definitely felt with the abundance of people I saw walking, going on runs, doing daily outdoor activities such as planting, gardening, playing, doing athletic activities such as catch, or just walking their dogs. There was never not one person in sight. There was either abundance or sometimes 2 to 3. And multiple people I've seen sit out on their porch, just chilling and relaxing with their doors open. And even if they weren't out on their porch, the door was just wide open, letting in the cool breeze air instead of using their AC. And I will say Rogers has definitely had an impression on me of how tree canopies can actually shape a neighborhood and the lives of in the neighborhood. Now, going to New Northwood on 1336 Crofton Road, I will say it was hot. I felt the difference as soon as I got there. I was already sweating about going in 20 minutes in. I will say the neighborhood was pretty quiet. Not many people were outside at all. It didn't really feel like anyone wanted to really be bothered. I didn't really feel that sense of community as I felt from Rogers Forge. And going on the longer walks, it felt like I didn't really wanted to be out there. Going along, I will say there wasn't that many trees or that much vegetation. There was 1 or 2 trees there. Some of them were bigger than the others, but other than that, it didn't really give much shade or cool air. I felt the humidity from today's forecast of the temperatures being 74 degrees, unlike Rogers Forge. And coming into conclusion, I will say that tree canopies do have an impact on neighborhoods, at least with overall health, and brings a sense of community. It will change as people daily task of either staying inside for longer or going outside and enjoying the sun and the cool breeze. Now, that is everything that I have for today on District Green. Can't wait for you guys to see the next episode. Stay tuned.